People are not happy after V has apparently partnered with Coca-Cola, and their reactions are drastic. V gives a video statement about his friends and talks about that, and then we also have a lot of people mass unfollowing and getting angry after what is going on recently with HYBE, with many connecting this to BTS and essentially unfollowing all. So dumplings is staved aside, let's get into it. There's a recent post that talks about how HYBE, specifically Bang, has misused a lot of his credit cards and specific things that are supposed to be company expenses for his own personal gain. This, of course, would be very believable to the general public, as the label is in a lot of controversy right now. And of course, why not tack on some other things? And it would make it seem even more believable. It also wasn't long ago, maybe just a year ago, where allegedly Min Hee-jin talked about how Bang or HYBE was essentially sex trafficking. This is a wild accusation, and when accusations like this are made, it's good to have a healthy level of skepticism, not only because you're fans of whatever's being accused, but because it's a wild accusation, and an accusation that holds a lot of weight and a lot of jail time. And it cannot just be made without proof, if it was made at all. With that statement made by her, and then of course people talking about the misuse of credit cards, it becomes very believable, because now it's like, oh, they're being investigated for this after that statement was made. That of course makes sense, but the bottom line is we don't exactly know what evidence Min Hee-jin allegedly has, because allegedly she got it illegally. Now this is all translated from English to Korean, so keep that in mind. And yes, that does make a difference if the information was gotten illegally, because that means things could have been taken out of context and things weren't given the full context when gotten. Thus makes it not illegal, right? And I'm staying neutral here. I don't know whether what she's saying is true, whether she said it or not. I don't know whether any of this stuff has been done or not. But I will say that these accusations are wild, and they have to be proven with the same level of wild evidence. Whether that is something that Min said herself or it's something that the fans are saying online, it needs to be proven. It cannot just be said. Now, there are several posts online, and it's become kind of a viral story where people believe that Bang has misused company credit cards for things like going out golfing or going to do specific forms of entertainment. This would corroborate a story of sex trafficking, as people would believe, oh, he looks like he's taking clients out to do things. But it's pretty normal for CEOs and company owners to take people out golfing or to do entertainment like things to wine and dine specific clients, investors, or potential new artists that they want to sign. This, in my opinion, would not be something that would be misuse of a company's credit card. But also, that story has not been corroborated by any official news sites. This is simply just a tweet that is currently made. There's no actual evidence behind it. And this is another piece of evidence where I'll say when you hate someone or you dislike someone so much that the moment you hear anything that is bad, even if it's untrue, you're more inclined to just jump on it and say, well, I knew it was true because I hated this person. And there's a lot of people who hated Bang before all of this stuff even came out, with people saying, I just have a bad feeling about him. But I want to talk about this briefly, which is that I think people need to approach things differently. There are psychological studies that show when you jump on hating someone and you immediately say, I have a bad feeling about this person, it's more so a thing about you feeling like that person you're seeing on screen or whatever has features that resemble you, that you don't like, or reminds you of someone who screwed you over. And there's other things, but those are the main reasons why when you first see someone, you can immediately hate them without even knowing them. So check your biases when you're accusing someone of things like wild accusations without any proof behind it. Is it because of those things, or is it because there's actual reason behind it, right? And if there actually is a reason, then of course you're welcome to hate or be upset about them or whatever, but in this case, there is no proof for any of these accusations. Many people have now put the blame on BTS, as the group is heavily associated with the label. And anytime you type in the label and learn more about the label, it is captioned with the group that BTS was from and blah, blah, blah. So that is definitely a problem, especially now that the label is under a lot of controversy. And a lot of people believe that BTS could be behind that controversy, as they have that association with the label. However, it's totally possible for BTS to operate independently from the label. But also, as I said, there is no real hard evidence of the label doing anything at this point. And the boys are super sweet. I don't think that they would be part of anything like this. And I'm sure, as even the label would mention, this is a controversy between just the label and the government or whoever is involved, and not anything to do with the boys. The boys have not, to my understanding, participated in any of these things, and all they've ever wanted to do is create music. It's quite clear and transparent that the boys are very kind, as V recently posted a video talking about his gratitude towards the community. The video talked about him expressing his gratitude for the community always being there for him and all that stuff, and this was evident by the fact that the community really showed up and supported his album, as well as a lot of times, even when it is things that aren't 100% great, the point of it is to stand by V. So things like having a protest truck in front of the label, asking the label to let V go solo, or the various other controversies that have existed with the protest trucks being in front of the label. The point of it was to help V. I mean, behind all of that, it is people wanting V to succeed. So he is very grateful for having that very dedicated community, and having a dedicated community comes with both pros and cons. The pros is that they love you. They really love you, and they will die by you. They will make fan art for you. They will literally spend their hard-earned money or even all of their money to support you. And then of course the cons of that is that if they hate you, they really hate you and they want you dead because they once probably loved you and they felt like you betrayed them or something. But the thing is, you can't satisfy millions of people, and if you are a celebrity and you're trying your best to serve the community, you of course, to no fault of your own, are inevitably going to flub up some relationships because there's so many people you have to attempt to be good with. I think people were shocked by this, but of course in a good way. They weren't expecting this message, and they were really excited to see that V obviously was still thinking of the community and wanting to have a message for everybody. So that's very cool, and that's a very exciting thing. Now, of course, this message that I'm reading or translating is one that is translated from Korean to English, much like everything else. So don't necessarily believe that this is 100% true, but I think me saying this message is not necessarily a bad thing. But is there a chance that this isn't the message and he's saying something else? Of course. So I just wanted to mention that, but I believe he is thinking of the community, even if he isn't verbally saying that. Like, I'm sure he's always thinking that. So I think it's totally fine whether this translation is correct or not. But while there are some great things that are happening with V, there are also a lot of negative things going on as well. He recently signed a deal with Coke Zero Korea, and a lot of people are very upset about this because Coke is seen to have supported the pro-Israel movement and all of that crazy stuff that is happening over there. There are two things that I want to mention here about this and sort of come to the defense of V, because I believe a lot of the stuff is misconstrued completely. The first misunderstanding that I think people have is that Coke, especially Coke Zero Korea, is tied to the Coke in the US and that brand. This, to my knowledge, is incorrect because the Coke brand that exists in Korea is associated with LG Household and Healthcare. This happened in 2007, where LG essentially bought out Coke in Korea. And as of now, they have no association with the US Coke brand or anything that the US brand does. So while Coke is part of the BDS movement, where people are protesting and all of that stuff, of those brands that are in that movement, Coke Korea is a completely different and separate entity and is not in that list. So that, of course, the first and the foremost important thing to take into consideration is that it's very different. And all of the publications have emphasized that it is Coke in Korea, not Coke in America. And could V have passed on this just knowing that it would have caused controversy, regardless of whether it was Korea or not, or that people would misunderstand? Yes, he could have. But at the same time, I think he was hoping that the community would be a little bit smarter in knowing what is part of the movement that is political versus one that isn't. V has also donated quietly to the Stand for the Children Foundation in support of Gaza. He did this quietly, as obviously this is a little bit of a political statement, and this quite shows where his heart is, and he obviously knows what's going on, and he does not stand for the stuff that is happening over there. And money is really the best way you can support something. I think people know this, but some people might not be aware, and they think, well, for rich people, money is just money, and they can get a tax write-off and all that stuff. But money really is the best way to help. It helps people get out of there. It helps people relocate. It really helps them. And him putting his money towards that really tells us a lot. Now, the second thing that I want to mention, which is a little bit more nuanced, is the fact that Coke has actively mentioned that they have no part in the political stuff that is happening. This is the Coke in the US. So we can choose to believe what we want to believe, but the bottom line is, if they were to lie about something like this, wouldn't the political party that they're sending their donations to feel a certain type of way if they were telling the public that they're not a part of that political party? So if they're actively saying that they're not, I have no reason to believe that they are. Of course, that opinion is going to be controversial, but that's just my thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you feel about that. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.